Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan, and I'm going to be a senior at the University of Florida. Um, yeah, go Gators. And so, I grew up in a non-religious home, non-Christian home. My mom is a devout Buddhist, and my dad doesn't really believe in God. He's atheist. And so, growing up, I had a lot of Christian friends, or friends that they said they were Christians, but they lived a life that was no different than mine. And so I didn't really see the need for God in my life. And going into college, I had this mindset. People had been telling me that college was going to be the best 4 years of my life, that I really needed to live it up, and that I needed to experience new things and meet new people. And that's exactly what I had pursued. I started partying a lot more than I did in high school, started drinking a lot more, the girls and all that. And so, yeah, that's really what I did. And my first class of college, I took acting for non-majors, and I met this girl. Her name was Susie. And I remember sitting there in the second day of class and being like, "Wow, this girl's really cute. I'm gonna go ask her for a number." And like having this YOLO mindset, I did. Yeah, I got her number, and I was like, "Sweet." I started hanging out with her, and she took me to Crew. And so I went, and the gospel was being preached to me, and I had heard it. I just wasn't listening. I was more interested in what Susie was wearing, and just really wanting to get to know her more. And so, in college, I'm living this party lifestyle, and halfway through, my world kind of gets rocked. In high school, I was known as the star volleyball player. We had indoor volleyball for guys, and I was the AP student, the guy that was, getting straight A's in all his classes, and I knew everybody in high school. And so, halfway through my freshman fall, like all of that I placed my identity in got stripped from me. I was playing club volleyball for the University of Florida, and I was playing like second, sometimes even third string. I was flunking out of chemistry, which was absurd to me because I had never flunked out of a class. And on top of all that, I didn't have any friends. I wasn't in a fraternity at the time, and so I just felt really alone. And in that depression, Susie kind of reached out to me, and she called me one day, and she asked if I wanted to read this book with her called More Than a Carpenter by Josh McDowell. And I was so pumped. Thinking like, yes, I get to meet up with Susie once a week and grab like lunch, and I get to read this book. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I have no friends, whatever. And so we started reading this book, and I'm learning more about who Jesus was as a person, and kind of who he was historically, and just really like being curious about it. And then halfway through the book, a buddy of mine asked me if I want to go to church. This guy that had been teaching me how to play beach volleyball, and he's a 23-year-old grad student. I just remember thinking, like, what's this guy, 23-year-old grad student, doing hanging out with me, an 18-year-old freshman who doesn't know jack squat? So I said yes, and I remember walking into church and just thinking, man, I'm just gonna learn how to be a better person, and really nothing else. And that day, I'd listened to the gospel. That for the first time, I had heard that God sees all of my sin. He sees all the parties, all the girls, all the drinking, but that he chose to love me anyways. And so I was just so blown away by that, and really trying to wrap my head around it, and thinking to myself, wow, I really want to have a relationship with God, but the only way to do that is through Jesus. And so the summer after my freshman year, I stayed in Gainesville to kind of stay away from my friends back at home, to stay away from that life, and really to wrap my head around it. Like, what does it mean to follow Jesus? Is it worth it? Who is God? And through a lot of prayer and reading through Scripture, I come to realize that it is worth it, and I just had to give him a chance. And so that summer, I gave my life to the Lord, and the fall after that, I pledged a fraternity. I pledged a SIG, and that's when the older guys there started pouring into me. That's where I found my community, and guys really started showing me what it was like to walk in the light of God. And so, yeah, now here I am at Greek Summit, and I'm learning just like how to be a student like those guys were, pouring into brothers in my fraternity and how I can do that. And so that's kind of the story of how God had changed my life. But yeah, thank you guys for listening.